Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Reporter's Notebook. For those of you who have not watched Reporter's Notebook before, it's where we get a chance to talk with some of the people who work here at WNCT, mostly the reporters, and we get to learn a little bit more about the stories that they did today, get a little bit more behind the scenes of the daily life of a reporter, and just kind of dive a little bit more into those things that we research every single day. So today I'm joined by Miss Madison Forsey.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, Madison. Madison is here, obviously, in the digital studio with us, which is awesome because I don't get to see her a lot. We're both very sporadically here at the office, so it's really nice to have her in here today to talk with. Thank you, Madison.
Thank you for having me, and I do love being in the digital studio and in the newsroom because I've basically been working from home since March, which was probably, I think was when you started, was either March or April, right? And so that's a long time, and I feel like you and a couple of other people, Victoria too, nobody really knows what the vibe and kind of feeling of being in an active newsroom with a lot of people is like, and it is so much fun, and it's like probably one of the best things about this job is like the excitement, but it's sad right now because everyone's working from home, but it's for the best, and it keeps everybody safe, so that's good.
Trying to keep everybody safe. Yeah, I always say that. Like, I started in the middle of a pandemic, so I'm used to a very quiet newsroom. I'm used to working from home, and everybody else is like, that's not how it is. You have no idea. It's loud. It gets crazy. So I'm waiting for that day because I think it'll be great.
Yes, it will be fun, and you'll be like, okay, so this is what it's supposed to be like.
Oh, it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
So, Madison, talk to us a little bit about the story you did today. It's something I'm very interested in, and I think it's a really, really great resource for the viewers in our area. So, talk to us about what the story was that you covered today.
Yeah, so it's all about this website, Voter 411 ENC, and it's an initiative from two ECU professors. One of those professors, her name is Cindy Elmore, and she lives in Winterville. And a couple years back, she was trying to get some information on local candidates that were running for different offices in Winterville, and she couldn't find any information anywhere. And of course, those local elections and local candidates are really important because that's where a lot of change is happening. So she said, you know what? There needs to be some kind of website, some kind of resource for people. So they created Voter 411 ENC. And right now it displays every single Pitt County election, or every single election that's going to be on the ballot in November in Pitt County on one website. So what they do is compare the person that holds that office, and then if there's someone running against them, they have a side-by-side comparison asking them a ton of questions. And it's not just questions about, you know, why did you run for this office? It's things like, how are you going to involve constituents in your decisions? So kind of digging a little bit deeper and trying to get to the bottom of who that candidate really is, rather than just a lot of the main talking points that you would hear, you know, about economic development, that kind of thing. Those are talking points that we know about. It's really kind of digging into what kind of person they are and how they're actually going to be in office. And so there's a lot of those options on there, but it's nice because it's something different. You know, we know what President Trump and Joe Biden stand for, but we don't always know what this county commissioner stands for. So it gives people another opportunity to get some more information.
Definitely. And I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but when we were talking earlier, I know they have, I mean, they have like listed every single election, right, that's going to happen this year, you know, local level, federal level, all of that's good stuff. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So it's on the county level, and then the state, like North Carolina representatives, people who are going to represent this area in the state house in North Carolina. But everything is important. I mean, you have the soil conservation, excuse me, I don't think that's the correct term, but you have county commissioners. It's eluding me, whatever the actual office is. I stared at it for like 4 hours today. But there are people that are actually affecting change. And that's one thing that Cindy Elmore mentioned. You know, if you care about traffic patterns, if you care about how your area floods and hazard mitigation and the schools that your kids go to, these are the people that are actually going to affect that change. You know, we focus a lot on the big elections. It's cool to talk about, you know, how Donald Trump and Joe Biden are different, but at the end of the day, they're not the ones coming up with your area's hazard mitigation plan. Right. So it's important to know who those local people are.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it, because it really is the people who are local leaders. A lot of times people don't know a lot about them. They don't know when those elections are, and they're just generally unaware of that process from the local level. And that's the most important piece of it, really, because the people from the local level that we elect are the ones directly, their job is to directly represent our community and the needs of our community immediately right then and there.
Yeah.
You know, from a federal level, yeah, they're awesome. They do things for our country, but they're not directly focused on, you know, the small, you know, Pitt County or Craven County in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And the people that we elect here at a local level, those are the people that really care about what's going on right here.
Yeah.
Like you said, traffic patterns, schools. Like, these are people that, you know, are very important for people in our community to know who they are, know their name, know their face, know what their political stance is, what their policies are, what changes they want to make, because these are the type of people, you know, at a local level. These are the people that you can phone up and call them right away from your cell phone.
Most of the time, their contact information is readily available on whatever website. So really, and I mean, you could be grocery shopping with them. You know, they're your community. They're your neighbors.
Exactly. And being able to have that very close direct contact is really comforting for people to just know that, wow, I have somebody that I can contact directly that I know is going to be representing me and it wants change for my community and wants better for the community that I'm living in, because they're living in this community too.
Yeah.
So super important. And I love that these teachers came up with an amazing idea to create a website, a one-stop shop for all of this information, which normally, you know, citizens and even us as reporters, as a news station, have to kind of go digging for, you know, this information, digging for these, you know, election dates for these smaller elections. And that shouldn't be, you know, information that's hard to access for people.
Yeah, and that speaks to kind of a greater problem, and that's something that Cindy Elmore and I talked about, was that there is a significant decline in community journalism across the country. I mean, it's a talking point that we've been hearing for a long time, that a lot of smaller local news organizations are getting cut just because the funding is not there, and larger tech companies and stuff are coming in and just slicing and dicing these small community papers. And what happens is those small community papers and those smaller news outlets are the ones that are sitting down with candidates and are trying to get to the bottom of what they actually believe and digging through that information. So when that's gone, there's really nobody else sourcing that information. So it's also kind of a call and response to the decline of local journalism as well. And
that's awesome. And you said these were journalism professors at ECU,
professors
right?
Of communication. Yep, both at ECU. Awesome. So they definitely know firsthand that that's a problem, how that leads to misinformation. I mean, we all know about all the misinformation that's swirling online on social media. Fake news, all of that. So that's why they were like, we're two professors. We can approach this from a nonpartisan, non-biased angle. Let's get this information down for people. That way they know that they can trust the source of the information.
That's so awesome. And I really hope, we talked about this earlier, I really hope this is something that, you know, other counties and other states even start looking into, because this isn't, you know, something that's isolated to North Carolina, where, you know, people don't know about local elections or are not super informed about their local electorates and you know, newspapers, smaller, like, this is happening all over the country. It's not just in North Carolina, and especially for this upcoming election season. This is a big year for elections. This is just like 2016. That was a huge year for elections. This is going to be just the same. So people need to be aware and well informed about what's going on, you know, in the government right here in our own communities.
Well, and it's a very simple initiative too. You know, I kept asking, like, is there anyone helping you? Do you have students helping you? She was like, nope, it's just me and this other professor. So if it just takes these two people to put together this website, you know, it does take a lot of work to get in contact with a lot of these candidates. And some of the candidates haven't filled out the questionnaires that they sent. And that's really kind of doing a disservice to the people they're serving, because people want to know what these people stand for. But it's just these two professors. So that was something that Professor Elmore was telling me, was that she would love to expand and get other communities, other groups, other universities to help out. But if it's kind of a testament to hard work. Like, if just these two people can do something this impactful and start something like this that is such a resource for the community, imagine if two more people joined to help, or one more university was like, hey, yeah, we have some students that can help too. Like, it could really grow into something a lot bigger.
Definitely. And this is, for this year especially, like I said, it's big election season. This is a great start starting point for resources like this. And I really do hope they continue to grow and people look at this and say, wow, that's an amazing idea. We can, incorporate this in our own community for our viewers, our citizens, the people in this area. So that's really awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely agree. And it is voter411enc.org if anyone would like to go and visit. I highly recommend. I learned it. Excuse me. It's been a long day. I learned something new when I went on there today. So as long as you're learning something new, that's a good day. And now I might know who I'm going to cast my ballot for. So that's a good thing too.
There you go. That's awesome. And thank you so much for telling us what that website was. I was going to ask you that. So thank you.
I got your back door.
Thanks, girl. Well, that wraps up this edition of Reporter's Notebook. Again, that website for you guys if you want to check that out, and I think me and Madison would both highly recommend that you do. Madison, what's that website again one more time?
voter411enc.org, and you can find it on our website too, WNCT.com.
Yep. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this edition, and have a great rest of your day.
Bye.